Hey everyone, welcome to Old Iron Garage and thank you for tuning in. So today I'm going to be picking up right where I left off on the Clinton Model 3100 engine, and that is with the carburetor. As you can see right here, it is now clean and ready to reassemble. So let's go ahead and dive into that. So, I got it pretty well clean. There's still, signs of that there was definitely oxidation going on in here, but it's pretty clean though. So yeah, anyways, it's about as clean as we're going to be able to get it. Let's start assembly. So I'm going to start with, actually I'm going to start with a clean paper towel to lay down. The plates for the throttle and choke were extra nasty. They were rusted, so I actually had to disassemble those and get those out and sand them. Yeah, I actually had to sand them to get those clean. I am almost out of thread locker. Time to order another tube. Let's want you guys down here so you can see what I'm doing. Put that in place. Put a little bit of thread locker on the screws. You don't want these screws to come out while the engine's running. So it's important to put some thread locker on them. It doesn't take much. Just a dab will do you. Just a little bit is all it takes. Hey, come on. Yeah, you do not want these screws to come loose and get sucked into the engine and cause some serious damage. So the choke is assembled. Now it is time for the throttle. Okay, that is in place. to make sure not to over tighten these. They're just threading into brass or bronze. And there's not a lot of threads to begin with. So you just get them real good and snug and then let the thread locker do the rest. Okay, those are installed and functioning like they should. Dogs are barking at something. Zeus! Quiet! So, I'm going to start laying out parts. Parts that I'm going to need. Next part I'm going to put in is the idle adjustment screw, the idle set screw for idle speed, not idle fuel mixture. All right, that's in. Now, if you watched the previous video, you know I was very careful to remove the bowl gasket. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to reuse it. It is mighty crispy, but I don't really have much choice here. This is what I have. But fortunately, I know before it came out, it did not leak. So, now that could change since it's been disturbed now. Oh, come on. Part of it went in kind of a little bit off. Oh, don't tear, don't tear. All right, I'm going to fix this off camera because this is going to take a minute. I have to be super careful, and I'll bring you back in just a moment. All right, I got that seal in, and it is seated how it should be. And the groove in it that the carburetor bowl made, I took the point of this little pick and I scraped it out gently so that groove is clean. So now we are going to install the float. The float is good. There's no holes in it. And it would appear that I forgot to it doesn't need it. It's nice and clean. Usually I take a Scotch-Brite pad to these pins that the float hinges on, but it doesn't need it. Oh, but this needle here does. Need a little bit of polishing, a little bit of cleaning. Forgot to do that. So since I've got this in my hand anyways, I'm gonna give that pen just a quick polish. Remove any oxidation or any dirt, anything that's on there. Alrighty. Those are ready to install. Alright, now in order to test the needle and seat, I'm going to need to thread in this fuel fitting. And that is functioning as it should. So, in case you haven't seen any of my previous videos and you don't know what I'm doing, with the float and the needle installed and the carburetor upside down, so the weight of the float only is pushing down on the needle, pushing it shut, you should not be able to blow any air between the needle and seat. But then when you lift up on the float, opening the needle and seat, you should be able to blow air through. And it is functioning perfectly as it should. So next, I'm going to install the, come on, there we go. The little fuel, what do you call this? The little plunger that the carburetor bowl drain plunger or valve. This is what allows you to drain the carburetor bowl of fuel when you push it up. It's spring loaded and you push that up and it allows you to drain the bowl and get the fuel out of the carburetor. Trying to be careful not to lose this spring not to let it go flying. And that is installed. That's what that looks like. See, when you push it, on the inside it goes up and allows fuel to dump out. Come on. Alrighty. So now I'm going to give this needle the main jet, or the high-speed jet needle, adjustment needle, a quick polish. Because I forgot to adjust the needles as well. Or adjust. I'm tired, I'm sorry. I forgot to polish them as well, just to ensure that they are clean. And I'm going to back that needle way out of the little thing that it threads into before threading that into the carburetor. But it is now time to install the bowl. So there's a seal that goes both on the inside and the outside of the bowl. So that's 2 seals. Come on now, thread in. Huh. That is odd. It is not wanting to thread back in. Well, there it goes. Strange. With the bowl installed, it did not want to thread in for some reason. So we're going to try it again. There we go. It is now, I have now caught a thread, and it is starting to thread in as it should. You do not want to over tighten that. Very easy to strip those threads out of the bottom of the carburetor. Very, very easy. I have done it a time or two in the past. Now go ahead and thread your fuel adjustment needle back in a bit. Now we have the idle circuit adjustment screw to install, but first I'm going to give that a little bit of a polish. Okay, so at this point, the carburetor is assembled. But now we are going to bench set the adjustments. I'm going to start with the idle. I'm going to set the idle a little bit high, just a little bit higher than what it should be. Just for easier starting. That should right there just be a tad on the high side. Now both adjustment screws we're going to run all the way in. And usually I bring them out 1 1/2 turns from all the way in, but in this case I'm going to bring them out, I'm just going off of a hunch, I'm going to bring them out 2 full turns from all the way in. So it's all the way in, 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, 2. Same thing with the high-speed adjustment. Let's run her all the way in. Actually, before we do, I'm going to give this other one just a little bit of a snug. That tightens up the packing material that's in there, which is basically your seal. The nice thing about packing is, well, when a regular seal goes bad, it's bad. You have to replace it. With packing, you just tighten it up a little bit. So, but anyways, now we're going to run the high-speed adjustment screw in until it stops, which is right there. So now we're going to go out 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, 2. 2 full turns. Normal bench setting for a carburetor is 1 1/2 turn out from all the way in. But I mean, sometimes, I mean, you can start it wherever you want, but sometimes it's helpful to go out a little further. All right. That's a nice looking clean carburetor right there. Looks good. So that is done. Now we're going to turn our attention to the 90-degree elbow for the air filter, the oil bath air filter, which we do not have. But I do have some on other engines on the shelf, so I may just snag one of those. Need some Mountain Dew. All right. Let's go ahead and put in this elbow here for the crankcase breather tube. It hooks up to here. Alrighty. And we have a couple of homemade gaskets here, and I'm just going to reuse, I think. Why not? But I forgot to clean these gaskets. If I'm reusing a gasket, I usually try to clean it. A little bit of brake cleaner and then just kind of rub it and then rinse it with brake cleaner again and let it dry. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera because, I mean, it's going to take a minute and it's just adding unnecessary time to the video if I show it. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. So, it's been a little bit of time now since I paused the video, and I'm having a long enough that I'm having a hard time remembering exactly where I left off, but I believe it was with cleaning these homemade gaskets that somebody made. The reason why, I forgot to mention, the reason why I cleaned them is so that putting them back in, I'm going to use some RTV, and I want to make sure the RTV, actually adheres to it. If it's all oily and greasy, it might not. It probably won't. So, but the reason why it has been, a decent period of time since I paused the recording is because I did something else. If this engine looks any different at all since the last time you laid eyes on it, it's because I decided to clean it. It was absolutely filthy, and it was bothering me. It was driving me nuts. Normally I don't clean every engine. I like to, but it's such a pain to get out the power washer and stuff. I decided this time I wasn't going to get out the power washer. I was going to do the best I could with compressed air, a strong concentrated degreaser, and the garden hose with a adjustable sprayer on it. And came out pretty darn good. I mean, this thing's pretty clean. I didn't take this off. I didn't take the blower housing off or anything, so I'm sure it's still dirty behind there. And I did end up grabbing a stiff plastic bristled scrub brush, and I went at it with that before the final rinse, and then I blew it off with compressed air at the end. But yeah, it came out pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. Anyway, the only part I didn't clean was this, but it's really not that dirty. I mean, you can hardly tell the difference. So that didn't really need it. Alright, well, it's time to put the carburetor on. While using compressed air, I did manage to accidentally blow the linkage for the governor into the blower housing. So now I gotta try and fish that out. That ain't working. There we are. Got it. Had to use the hook shaped pick. Allergies. Sorry about that. Alrighty. this thing came out pretty nice looking. Here we are. Anyway, so actually before I put these in, I want to okay, never mind. I've already scraped the gasket surface with a carbide scraper tool. This vacuum hose, by the way, has, or crankcase breather hose, has seen better days. But it's not just a piece of rubber hose. There's a groove cut in it here where it goes through this cover, valve spring cover. And I don't have a replacement for this, and I don't feel like trying to cut a groove in a fuel line. So there was a little bit of a hole right here, so I just smeared some RTV over it. It's not the correct fix, but I don't have the correct part, and that will do. That will do the job. So, sorry, I see a little bit of dirt that I missed here, and it's bugging me. It's in the keyway on the crankshaft. I want to make sure that that's cleaned out. So anyways, I used a carbide scraper and I scraped that clean. First things first, we got to put these in. And I'm going to use a little bit of thread locker on them. These studs that the carburetor go on. And I do not have enough thread locker. So I'm going to use the next thing. I am out of thread locker. Also made by Loctite. This can work as thread locker, though it's quite a bit stronger. But there's really, unless you break one, there's really no need for these studs to come out. And if you break one, then trying to take them out for whatever reason, then yeah, I mean you're gonna have big problems anyways. This is anaerobic retaining compound, and this can be used in a pinch as thread locker, but it's pretty darn strong. This is the high strength stuff. It's Loctite number 638. This would be used for like putting bearings in a housing, whatever the bearing goes into, you know, or bearing races, and making sure they stay. Like if it's a little bit of a sloppy fit, like if they slide in and out easy, they don't need to be pressed in, this ensures that they stay in. So this is what we're going to use now. Literally just put it on and thread them in by hand, and it's not going to come out. Put this stuff on the threads, thread them in by hand, and it will stay there. Must have still had a little bit of water in that one. I seen water come out when I threaded it in. I don't like that, so there, I will do it again. there we are. Those are on. Or in. Whatever. So I'm going to wipe off any excess that came out. Not that it's not necessary, but I mean, you know, I guess you can say I'm a little picky. So, that is done. Now, the next thing that I actually need to do is, before I forget, we need to get an exhaust put in here before we go any further with putting the carburetor on. Man, those threads are boogered up. If I would know that this is going to be the permanent, configuration for the exhaust, I would do away with this lock ring, and so I can thread it in that much further, and then I would just really goober this with that anaerobic retaining compound, get it where I want it, and let it set up. But yeah, I don't know who's going to end up with this engine, what they're going to use it for, and what they're going to want for a more permanent exhaust configuration. So can't do that. So, gotta just figure something else out. I forced that lock ring on further so I can hopefully catch one more thread with this pipe. Hey. Daggone it. Oh, no. I think we just went ahead and finished it off. I think we just stripped it out the rest of the way. I didn't even turn it that much further past where it came against. Oh, geez. I think we just pulled a little bit of aluminum out that it was hanging on. It's really only one other thing I can do at this point. Just do away with that lock ring and hope to catch one more good thread. At this point, I may have to, just so we have an exhaust at all, I may have to use the anaerobic retaining compound on this thing. What to do. I'm gonna pause the video for a moment and figure something out, and I'll be back in just a bit. Alrighty, I came up with a solution. I ended up that little male coupler pipe that where it threads into the block. I actually ended up squishing it, which made it, instead of a nice round circle, it kind of made it kind of oblong, which means one way it's actually wider now. What that does is that forces and then when you thread it on in, it forces the threads to dig deeper into the aluminum. And I threaded it in until it was good and tight. Like, I didn't go like super tight, but you know, good and tight. And then to the position I wanted it to be oriented, which is facing this way. I want the exhaust to come out this way, away from the muffler. And I mean, I would prefer to go straight, but the thing is, this is what I have to work with. A coupler with a 90-degree elbow. So that's what I have to work with. So I wanted to go this way, away from the carburetor, not down toward the breather hose, not up where rain can get into the carburetor, where rain can get into the muffler and work its way into the engine. I wanted to go this way. So I threaded it in until it was tight. I used a pair of like the slip jaw pliers, or to force it to that position where I wanted it, and then I tightened the retainer ring. It is solid. It does not move. It's not going anywhere. You'd have to whack that with a hammer to get it to go somewhere, and I did not have to use any of the anaerobic retaining fluid. So this can be taken out, and then you can put whatever other exhaust you setup you want in there. This is the muffler that was on there, and so this is what's going back on because it's here, it's available. It'll do the job. I do not have another retaining ring handy, so I'm just going to thread it in until it stops, and it's as tight as I can get it by hand, and that's going to be good enough. Yeah, okay, let's move on. Back to the carburetor. So, normally I would use some RTV to seal up the gasket between the carburetor and the engine. But I noticed when I did that on the previous Clinton I was working on, the model 410, because the carburetor, the flange where it bolts to the engine, was badly warped. Gas going in was able to soften that, and I believe that made it have a vacuum leak again. So this time I'm going to use this stuff. If you've watched my videos, if you've seen me use this many times, this is Permatex Forma gasket. It is fuel rated. and this is fast drying and hard setting. So I'm going to go ahead and get some in here. I'm actually going to put it on the gasket. I'm just going to put a thin bead and then smear it around with my finger to even it out. I got a little bit more on than what I wanted, but that's okay. So now I'm just going to spread it out and even it out. Looks like chocolate frosting. Does not smell like chocolate frosting. So I'm not going to do a taste test. Then I'm going to kind of push it on to make the sealant touch. Make full contact with no gaps all the way around between the gasket, the paper gasket, and the engine block. Now I'm going to do the same thing all over again, but I'm going to do it on the carburetor. By the way, off camera, I did use some of this stuff on the fuel elbow. I threaded it back out, and I put some on the threads, and I threaded it in and got it to the position I wanted it. So this one also is badly warped, and that's why I'm doing this. This carburetor, this flange here, is also badly warped. So that's why I am using this stuff instead of RTV. Alrighty, I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready to put this on. Before I can put this on, I do have to hook up the governor linkage. And there we go. An evenly spread bead of not chocolate sealant. Not chocolate frosting. Permatex Forma gasket. Alrighty. So now I put this in its hole. I get those started on there. That anaerobic retaining compound should be good and set up by now with these studs. It doesn't take real long. Now, since I have a fair amount of sealant in there, I don't have to really crank down on these. I just have to get it tight enough that they're not going to come loose, and then maybe just a hair more, and that sealant will do the job that it needs to do. Come on. Having a hard time getting this nut to thread onto this stud. Wait, there we go. I found a way. The carburetor, the breather hose, and the exhaust are all in the way, making it difficult. But I got it. Just gonna take a little bit of time because yeah, I should have paused the video for this part because I'm wasting too much time making this video unnecessarily long, but I didn't think about it till now. I'm almost there now. It's not worth even doing now. But yeah, this is just tedious because I'm having to do just a little bit of a turn, flip the wrench, do a little bit of a turn, flip the wrench. Alrighty, now we have an exhaust and a carburetor. So now I got to put this on. I just want to make sure that I have this elbow clocked at the right position. There's no need to put any sealant on that, on the threads of that. I am going to put sealant on this though, because it's not the greatest, it's not the most nicely made homemade gasket I've ever seen, and it'll do the job, but it could benefit from a little help from some sealant. There's no fuel passing through this, so no need to waste any of my fuel rated sealant on it. I'm going to use RTV. Just going to go ahead and put a thin film on both sides, stick it on. This is not as critical, there's no fuel passing through it, and this is before the butterfly valve for the throttle. So It doesn't have to be super critical. I just want to make sure we're not getting dirty air passing in there. Come on. Catch a thread. Oh, daggone it. There. Well, one of them caught a thread. It moved on me. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with oil. I'm going to give this some time for these sealants to set up before I ever put fuel to this thing. So, yeah, I'm gonna pause the video here, and yeah, I will bring you guys back when it's time to put some fuel into this and fire it up. So after getting the carburetor on, I decided that since I used water on this to clean it, I'm going to check for spark again. And of course I no longer had spark. So I went to get the blower housing off, and the fins, cooling fins, all on this side, packed full of grease and dirt. And in behind the flywheel, same thing. All around the coil and the points cover and condenser and everything, same thing. I mean, just look at all this on the bench. Yeah, that is only a fraction of what I've already taken off. Inside the blower housing, it was caked. This is only a fraction of what I've taken off. I mean, I've taken off quite a bit already, but it's already in the trash. Some of it's on the floor. This is all packed in. I've already dug some of it out, but it was packed full. Couldn't even tell there was cooling fins there. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not going to have you guys watch me clean this out because it would be boring. So I'm going to get back to it, and I don't know, maybe I'll bring you guys back for just a moment once I got this cleaned up a bit. Alrighty, sometime later, I scraped out as much dirt and grease and oil as I could, and then I just skipped straight to, I didn't hit record, I just skipped straight to taking it outside, hitting it with compressed air, degreaser, garden hose, compressed air, brake cleaner. I threw it all at it. And you can actually see that it has cooling fins, and you can see some outer cylinder wall now. Now, there's no reason this thing shouldn't be able to keep cool. I didn't, do a detailed job and get every last little bit, but I got enough that this thing will easily stay cool now. And I also cleaned the points. So those should be okay, as long as something didn't happen to the coil. So, yeah, we will see. Alrighty, the moment we've been waiting for. I got it assembled. I got the fuel supply, the short section of fuel line and the funnel on the carburetor. I've started filling it with fuel, so it won't take so long, but it needs to be topped off. There we are. Just a heads up, it will smoke some, at least, because the exhaust had been soaking in kerosene to help it loosen up so I could get it apart. And also this is 2-cycle fuel to help bring it around gently. So anyways, without further ado, let's give this a go. No choke. Half choke. No choke. Half choke. No choke. Well, that's a good start. That's definitely a good start. Man, I need to just get some of these off the bench. Like I said, I don't know if it's showing up. Okay, yeah, you can see it a little bit in the video right here. The smoke coming out of the exhaust. Like I said, it had the exhaust is saturated in kerosene, so it is going to smoke. At first, that does not necessarily mean that this engine is burning oil. We've got to give that some time to kind of burn off, and then we'll see if it's an oil burner or not. That, and also I'll need to switch to straight gasoline to know for sure if it's an oil burner or not. Because right now there's oil in the gas. 2-cycle fuel. Let's try it again. No choke. Turn the idle down. up here. Everything. Alright, let's try it again. No choke. Oh, what did I do now? Come on now. Don't do this. Oh, I might want to add some gas. I don't think it was out yet, but it's probably getting there. Wow, this is exciting. This is major improvement right here. Aw. Come on. Now what? Back to square one. We're just running out of fuel again. Alright guys, I'm gonna pause the video and I'm going to tinker with this carb for a while, and I'll bring you guys back when I have something to show you. Alright everyone, so I've been tinkering with this thing for a good while now, tinkering with the carburetor. Every time I think I got it dialed in, it goes back to running out of fuel. So I got to do some more digging into the carburetor, but I'm gonna fire it up and at least show you that it does run well, you know, until it runs out of fuel. But yeah, it I don't know. This is this is giving my my brain an itch. It's making my brain itch. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to call it there, and probably the next time you guys see this engine, it'll be sorted out, and it'll be a good running engine. I've spent enough time working on this thing on video, so, but yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. If you know something I should check on this carburetor, please let me know. If you like the kind of content you see on this channel and you have not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Later.